Er ist von Beruf Polizist und kam vor ein paar Jahren nach Hildesheim zur Qualifikation. Und damals kannte ihn überhaupt keiner. Und er setzte sich völlig überraschend durch, spielte seine ersten Partien auf der großen Bühne. Und seitdem ist er immer wieder mal mit dabei. War in Düsseldorf im Hauptfeld und konnte sich auch gestern Abend qualifizieren. Aktuell steht er auf Weltranglistenplatz Nummer 144. Natürlich drücken wir auch ihm die Daumen. Fabian Herz! Fabians Gegner kommt aus den Niederlanden, ist 28 Jahre alt und er ist seit 2014 bei der PDC, hat jetzt in diesem Jahr seine allererste Weltmeisterschaft im Alexandra Palace gespielt und steht inzwischen unter den Top 60 der Welt als aktuelle Nummer 58. Herzlich willkommen, The Machine Gun, Jermaine Wattimena.
So far today, 2 of the host nation qualifiers have made it through to the second round of the European Darts Grand Prix. Are we about to see a third? It's a tall order for Fabian Herz, and as far as the bookies are concerned, then the answer to that particular question will be a resounding no. He's up against Jermaine Wattimena, who's fast becoming a bit of a regular fixture on the European circuit. He's yet to get beyond the second round of any of the European Tour events so far this year. But Paul Nicholson, certainly a dangerous opponent to be drawn against in the first round.
Yeah, I think so. Jermaine, like you say, he's starting to be a regular on the European Tour, and the more you're up there, the more familiar you are with the conditions, and you'll grow in confidence because you're constantly coming through qualifiers. I mean, Jermaine Wattimena has already beaten 2 people just to be here. Fabian Herz has actually beaten 3, but Jermaine has beaten what I think are better players on stage, and he has more experience, and the bookies aren't particularly wrong. He is the better player here, but we have seen a somewhat big shock today with Martin Schindler taking an Andy Bolton. Anything's possible on the stage here at the Glass Palace.
Yeah, when you bear in mind the fact that Bolton made the quarterfinals in Riesa as recently as 2 weeks ago as well. As you mentioned, Wattimena last night coming through 2 rounds of qualifying. He beat the Greek player Yanis Salakoglu by 6 legs to 3, and then the Polish player Krzysztof Ratajski by 6 legs to 5. So he was given a bit of a workout in that second match in particular by Ratajski. And Fabian Herz.
Ladies and gentlemen, first leg is Jermaine to throw first. Game on!
It's always a bit more difficult to read too much into the German progression through the German players' progression through their respective qualifying campaign, but he did win his opening match against Alexander Hrner by 6 legs to 0. We'll need something special here today, you feel, as well.
There's something very efficient about the Fabian Herz throw as well. It's almost machine-like, bringing it in from the side, steadying it up, being quite level. And it's not the most aggressive throw, it's very balanced, very deliberate. It just looks like the kind of throw that, when he gets it right, he could be dangerous. But Fabian,
100.
He's not old in years, but he's had quite a bit of experience on the stage. He's played a lot of first-round matches.
100.
Yeah, and he's had plenty of experience of the development tour this year as well. He made 2 quarter-final appearances on the development tour this year. The development tour, of course, dominated by Dean Reynolds. And I'm sure we'll see a lot more of him next year as well. Worth noting, too, that his most recent quarter-final, or Hertz's most recent quarter-final in the development series was in May, so he's had a bit of a lean spell of it of late.
59.
Yeah, the last time we saw him was in Dusseldorf, where he played John Michael.
Yeah.
And it definitely didn't go his way that day.
Yeah, lost that one by 6 legs to 0. This will be his 5th appearance in the main draw of the European Tour event. 2 this year, 2 in 2014 as well.
100.
Failed to make it onto the big stage last year. Lost to John Bowles in the first round in Munich over the course of the Easter weekend as well. So definitely something to prove as far as the European Tour is concerned. Wattimena then, tops he wants, tops he gets for the first leg.
Second leg,
yeah, Wattimena doesn't mess around. When he's on, it's over very, very quickly. So Fabian Herz, I think, has just got to play his own game and not get involved with the pace of Jermaine.
And it was here in Sindelfingen at the European Grand Prix last October where Wattimena, the machine gun, made his European Tour debut, fighting back from 5-2 down to see off Robert Marjanovic, the man we've just seen lose his first round match against Cristo Reyes. That was 6-5 last year. But of the 8 European Tour events played this year, Wattimena has qualified for 6 and has been beaten in the second round on 5 occasions. So you just wonder whether he's got the game this weekend to take it to the next level and make an improvement as far as that particular barrier is concerned. Can he make the last 16?
Yeah, 1 year on, you've got to think that maybe it's time for him to take that next step, because he has had a lot of tournaments on the European circuit this year, and it's time for him to really progress and find a performance where he can go into Sunday.
I think maybe as well he's beginning to reap the benefits, if you like, of having a tour card as well, and it gives you a certain degree of comfort. It's something, by the way, he'll have to work for again, given he won his 2-year PDC tour card in January of 2015. I don't know how he's shaping up as far as that particular objective is concerned as well, but
he's pretty close as far as the top 64 is concerned. If he stays in the top 64, he will definitely have his tour card for next season. That's one thing in January at Q School he will not have to do. The way he's going, I think he'll be safe, and that for him is not a bad first 2 years.
Yeah,
because he's got a lot of years ahead of him.
60.
And yeah, getting to the third round here, of course, will do him the world of good. Oh,
65.
Is down to 76. You fancy he'll be back unless Hertz can take this out. Would be a spectacular way to hold throw here for Fabian Hertz, who's just shuffling his feet as he tries to find his level. 104 remaining, so he has to go treble 18, which he's missed. But he found it that time.
Very good indeed.
76.
Double 8 in a flash.
Game shot.
He hits it low.
Jermaine Wattimena.
I'm not convinced that came out of the hand 100% perfect.
Game on.
But it doesn't matter. He's 2-0 up, and he won't be bothered.
He will not be bothered in the slightest about that.
I looked at Fabian Hertz's qualification, and his final game he took out Bernd Royth, who dart players from the last 10 years know a lot about. He was dangerous.
Yeah, that was
5-6 years ago. Very, very dangerous indeed. Hasn't really done anything in the last few years, but still very handy. And that's the 40th 180 we've seen today. That's not a bad standard, Rob.
Setting the tone very nicely for the rest of the weekend.
100.
Well, Wattimena will be thinking, you know what, this is a good draw for me. I want to get rid of this as soon as possible. I want to inflict some pain on this young man. There's no remorse on a dart player's locker anymore. No friends up there. And he'll want to send the local boy packing as soon as possible.
41.
Yeah, and I suppose he'll want to send out a message to Stephen Bunting as well, who once more has been inconsistent on the European Tour this year.
Game shot on the third leg. Jermaine Wattimena. Fourth leg, Fabian
looking at a potential Wattimena Bunting meeting tomorrow. You'd have to say that Wattimena would stand a chance in that one.
Game on.
He would stand a chance. I think Stephen hasn't played particularly bad over the last couple of European Tour events. I just think he's run into someone who was on form. And I actually tipped earlier this afternoon that Stephen Bunting would have a run this week. I just had a feeling about his section of the draw, some of the opponents he could come up against, probably play into his strengths. And Jermaine is the kind of player that can test Stephen the right way to bring the best out of him. But providing that Jermaine actually takes this game against Fabian Hertz,
85.
I don't see Stephen having it all his own way, that's for sure. Because Jermaine, I've actually watched a lot of his games since Vienna,
95.
He just seems a lot more playing within himself. There's not as much panicking going on. He's hitting his doubles a lot better. And like you say, I just think having the tour card and probably not going to have to go to Q School next year, I feel he's getting comfortable with the tour and his best starts are starting to shine.
60.
There's another visit for Herz without a treble.
100.
So 2-4-6, 2-56 on the Herz throw. Wattimena has put himself in good position here too.
That's a good adjustment.
100.
But a loose third dart there. That was quite high above the treble 20 bed. Plenty of room for one more.
100.
Just a ton again from Wattimena.
156.
No, they call him the machine gun for one reason and one reason only, because he's very fast. I challenge everybody out there at home to try and throw as quickly as he does. It's not very easy. Trying to get the dart
60.
comfortable in your hand in order to throw a good dart is very tricky. Well, the 1-4-6, he was going for 2 treble 19s and double 16.
59.
The Simon Whitlock Muleheim shot. But Fabian Herz, 60 for double 18 now. Where's he going to go? Double 18 maybe? No, stayed on the 60, which was blocked.
60.
Yeah, questionable decision-making there from Fabian Herz. And there we go. He's taken out the treble 17, and it's
35.
Well, not to be on this occasion.
Fabian require 36.
Well, Herz it is. Gets a leg. Back in the match, and a big smile from the German.
Fifth leg, Jermaine to throw first.
That keeps the home fans involved.
1 round 40.
I don't think Jermaine will be too happy that he lost that leg.
Well, he won't. He's been inconvenienced slightly there, but 3-1 lead with the break.
100.
I remember watching Fabian's game against John Michael in Dusseldorf, and just from the evidence that I've seen here, he's definitely playing better today.
45.
But then again, Jermaine Wattimena is playing better than John Michael did, so it's good to see both players getting better as the season progresses, because now we're getting to the meat and potatoes of the season.
Yeah.
You can get some real cash in the bank, some ranking points in there, and start to make a name for yourself, because Wattimena still has an opportunity to get into European Championships.
Well, he's almost, I was just going to say, he's pretty much almost there. We talked earlier about the cut-off point. We think it'll be about 9,500. He was on 8,005 prior to this weekend. He's guaranteed 1,000 here. Let's assume he does win this. That'll be another 1,500. That'll take him to the 10 grand barrier. I think that'll be more than enough, given what's going on below him as well, with too many players clustering
81.
for those final, say, bottom 5 positions.
I think half the players are going to be Dutch at the European Championship, but
Yeah.
that's European darts for you right now.
99.
You know, there's a few Germans coming through. You've got an incredible Austrian in Mensur Zulevic. Obviously, all of the Brits. But Wattimena definitely wants to get his name involved in Hasselt, because he can do damage when he's on.
Jermaine, you require 120.
And of course, the hosts, Belgium, will be represented with Kim Ibrex, but no Dimitri van den Berg. He will not be involved. He's below the dotted line at the moment, and he will not be making any more money in Europe this year. Anyway, Herz here, 1-2-6 for an unlikely break. He needed that for the bull. 19, but it wasn't to be.
Jermaine needs 16s.
64.
There's one of them.
There's another.
Game shot on the fifth leg.
Nicely done.
That's the way to do it. The perfect little ladder. High in the 16, lower in the 16. There's a perfect line just going down to the bottom left-hand side of that double 16. Really well executed from Wattimena.
Yeah, you could almost draw a line along the 3 of them, couldn't you?
Yeah, and that's a good practice tip for people out there. Get an old dart, tie some string around it, let it dangle down through the bullseye, try and hit the string and break the string. It takes a bit of doing, but it's a good way to focus inwards and get yourself focused on a smaller target.
60.
Sound advice, like that. Well, Herz kicking off with a ton 40 and looking to back it
95.
up with something significant. 95.
He's had a better leg so far, Fabian. Every time I look at his shirt, for some reason I keep thinking of Blackburn Rovers.
Yeah, it's like a Blackburn Rovers away kit.
Yeah, like half a pint of Guinness and half a creme de menthe.
41.
Yeah, it's pretty predictable for a Dutchman to have a bit of orange on his shirt, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Just to let everybody know. Well, the averages aren't anything to write home about, but Wattimena is doing more than enough here against Fabian Herz at the moment. Well, he certainly has been over the first 5.5 legs. Yeah, just going back to the European Championship picture as well, it's been clouded further today as well. Andy Bolton was one of those in contention. He was looking for a strong performance again this weekend. He's been knocked out. Robbie Green given a massive helping hand. He too was on £5 prior to this weekend as well with the withdrawal of Aaron Monk. So he's guaranteed 1,500 plus another grand in Hildesheim as well. So he'll be challenging for a top 32 place. But I suppose it'll all come out in the wash in the end.
It will. And if Robbie Green's got his way, it'll all come out red in the wash.
It certainly is at the moment at Stamford Bridge. Robbie will be back at the hotel, I think, keeping a very close eye on events there in southwest London. And I think he'll be pretty pleased with what's happening so far on his night off.
Fabian Herz has got the 18 for double. Well, that's where he went.
And he needs to take those sorts of opportunities. Wattimena is all over this. Topsy wants one more go at it. He's under the wire, so Herz it. Okay, it's only for a holder throw, but it's another leg on the board. And it just derails Wattimena momentarily. And double 9.
Well, you don't have to look 3 times there, Fabian. It's definitely in. It was right in the middle. No doubts in my mind. There's definitely doubt in his. He looks like he was looking for a lost puppy.
That's telling that, isn't it? The fact that he's not convinced even by his own actions. He's almost continually doubting himself even when he's done the job. Anyway, we are at 4-2. Herz still needs a break, well, effectively needs 2.
Yeah, some very odd gestures from Mr. Herz here. He just seems to be looking around for something. I don't know if anybody's shouting something in the crowd, but he's hit a 140, a very, very good first visit. And he's looking around as if to say, well, where's my applause?
It's like when, you know, a footballer scores a goal and he thinks he might be offside and he's looking around as if to say, was that okay? It's perfect. It's almost like he wants that reassurance all the time.
Yeah, perfect analogy there, Rob.
100.
Mind you, Thomas Muller's the expert at that. Ducking under the offside trap. Herz should have a word with him. Skirting under the radar. 2-2-7 for Herz here.
This is a good leg from Fabian Herz.
He's just suddenly found something. If he can just maintain some degree of self-belief.
Well, with his gestures, he looked like he'd lost something, but he's definitely found something on the dartboard. But full credit to Jermaine Wattimena. He's actually making Fabian Herz have to hit this. And he might just do that, you know. Treble 17 for double 8. Wow! Fabian Herz is in the match. And as soon as we thought Jermaine Wattimena was stretching his legs, he's been pulled back by the German. Wow, he looks like he's been hit with a boulder.
Yeah. And Herz was absolutely praying for some sort of response from the crowd there. And he certainly warranted one. That was a terrific check out of 1-2-7. And if he didn't have too much self-belief before, he should have it in abundance now. And if he can fill this up, he's got loads of room to the other side. Still plenty of room for one more.
100.
Well, if he wins this match, it's got to be the Martin Schindler effect. Because the bookies had Jermaine Wattimena as a big favourite in this match. And I think rightly so. And you'd probably agree with me there, Rob. But fair play to Fabian Herz. This is the best I've seen him play. And there's definitely something in his game.
We could have, or we could yet have, 3 host nation qualifiers, 3 German players in the second round action tomorrow. Martin Schindler safely through, beating Andy Bolton. Max Ott beating James Hubbard 6-2. In what was a very one-sided contest in the end, I have to say. I was expecting a little bit more from James in that one.
There's some very odd looks going on the stage.
Herz looks like a man who thinks he might have left the gas on. He's just not. He's just not totally settled. Even when he's throwing well, he still looks to be baffled by what he's actually achieving. But anyway, he's still got lots to do here.
I've seen a look from Jermaine Wattimena just in his previous 140 visit as well. They keep looking to their left as if to say, is that window open or is it shut?
Maybe there is some sort of distraction, but I can't see what it would be.
Well, it's not affecting the quality of their play. In the last few legs, the quality has been very, very good.
161.
Well,
maybe it's a bit of a chess match, you know, trying to put each other off with a bit of slowing down.
47.
Well, he took out 127, Fabian. Can you take out 147, the snooker finish? No, you can't, is the answer to that particular question. Wattimena ready to pounce all over this on 62, but the way the match has shifted, Wattimena just might...
Wattimena requires 62.
One or two seeds of doubt here. 47 remaining, 32 then.
30.
That was a big moment, Rob. It really was.
50.
I was just going to say, it looks very gettable. It was very gettable. But the way Wattimena, the way the emphasis on this match has totally shifted in the last 4 or 5 minutes, I just had a feeling that Herz would have another chance here, and he's in a great position to hold here for a 4-all scoreline, having, frankly, looked dead and buried at 4-1 down. Double 16 then to take it to 4-4. That's some way inside.
42.
And that's not close enough either.
Well, if he'd have hit that, the crowd was involved then.
32.
This is the way to keep them quiet.
Shot in the 8th leg. Jermaine or Wattimena.
Or maybe, just maybe, the crowd were getting involved. Not anymore. Jermaine Wattimena has gotten away with that a little bit. He's taken advantage, and now he can get off stage if he puts in a 12-darter here.
Yeah, he just made a time there, didn't he? Just to have a quick gesture to the crowd before he retrieved his darts. But it is 5-3. Missed darts at double 16 and double 8 for Fabian Herz. It could have been a very, very different game now, but Wattimena in pole position here in the driving seat. 401 points away from a place in the last 32 tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a good game, that, between Bunting and the winner of this, because I think Stephen,
70.
It's the perfect time of year for him to find something special. He's going to be playing at the World Grand Prix in a couple of weeks' time. I just feel that Stephen Bunting has definitely got something to give this season. Has won a title this year, and he'll be earmarking this weekend as a great opportunity to really kick on.
140.
Well, that was a great opportunity for Fabian Herz to get down to a finish first on the Wattimena throw.
100.
Well, you never know if Fabian Herz gets this down in 6 darts. If Wattimena doesn't take that 145, it could just plant that little seed of doubt.
Needs a treble here, though.
100.
Yeah, he's got one.
Well, that's the most accentuated follow-through I've seen all day.
89.
He's definitely a bit quirky, Mr. Herz, isn't he? Bit quirky.
Well, could be a 14-dart leg this for Fabian Herz and a breaker throw. He'll settle for 15. Oh, was that the treble 9?
Treble 9 it is.
49 remaining then.
He's at 91, 17 off, so leaves 74. 47 left.
Sorry, 47, not 49.
59.
Yeah, but Wattimena can finish this off now.
Jermaine require 56.
Tops it is for the match. Tops it is. He gets the match.
Jermaine.
And he goes the crowd a little bit. Fabian Herz gave a great fight, Rob. I tell you what, though, Jermaine Wattimena, there were signs there of a very, very good run this weekend if he can get over Stephen Bunting, which will be very difficult.
Yeah, an abundance of appearances in the second round. He's got another one as well. Can he go one step further? Stephen Bunting will have something to say about that. But Fabian Herz, it looks as though that was going to be over very quickly, so credit to him for the way he fought back. Missed starts at double 16 and double 8 in the 8th leg, really proving the turning point. Wattimena through 6-3 to face Bunting tomorrow.
Satisfied with your game? Happy with your game? Sorry? Happy with your game?
Finally, with my finishes, I'm happy, but the scores, it must be better tomorrow.
Stephen Bunting is waiting.
I know. And scores will be much better tomorrow, I hope so.
Okay, so see you tomorrow again. Thank you very much. Jermaine Wattimena. Sagt, weiß, muss ein bisschen Gas geben, was das Scoring betrifft. Am Ende war es ein 89er Average, die Doppelquote war gut. Und mit Stephen Bunting wartet natürlich schon eine harte Nuss auf den Niederländer. Und damit haben wir noch ein Spiel. Die Partie von Devin Peterson, Südafrika, gegen James Wilson aus England. Bis gleich.